Hello learners, this is Habiba with Excel with me. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Let's start today's class, that is Research in Education, with the subtopic Designs in Educational Research, Descriptive, Experimental and Historical. Let's start with the introduction. The research design refers to the overall method that you choose to integrate the different components of the study in a coherent and logical way, thereby making sure you will effectively address the research problem. It constitutes the blueprint for the gathering or collection, measurement and analysis of data. Note that your research problem determines the form of design you can use, not the other way around. So the research design, what is research design? That is overall picture, that is overall method that you want to choose to integrate with the different components of the study which you want, logical way, that is making sure that you are addressing very effectively the research problem. Whatever research problem you have chosen, you are addressing that very effectively by designing properly how you are going to proceed with your research. That is, it constitutes, what does it constitutes? Blueprint. That is, what is the blueprint here? Why blueprint? Because we have to gather the data or collect the data, we have to measure that data and we have to do the analysis of the data, whether your hypothesis has been tested properly or not, whether it is true or false. That is, it is a kind of blueprint, the design. First you will design what you are going to do in your chapters and then you will proceed with your research. You have to note that the problem which you are choosing has to have proper design which you will use, not the used one you are going to take for your research. The function of a research design is to ensure that the evidence obtained enables you to effectively address the research problem as unambiguous as possible. What is the main function of the research design? To ensure that whatever evidence you have collected, that would be addressed effectively. That is, no ambiguity should be there in that. That means proper, effectively you should address whatever design you made, that you have to address it effectively. In social sciences research, obtaining evidence relevant to the research problem generally entails specifying the type of evidence needed to test a theory, that is to evaluate a program or to accurately describe a phenomenon. Obviously, in social sciences research, what they will do? They will obtain the evidences related to their research problem. That is, specifying which kind of evidence they want to test the theory or to evaluate any program. They have to describe it properly, accurately, whatever they are evidences they are collecting. However, researchers can often begin their investigations far too early before they have thought critically about what information is required to answer the study's research questions. That means the researcher can begin the investigation before designing itself. They can start investigating what kind of question or what kind of problem they want to take or they want to study, or the research question. They can investigate which kind of research question they want to work upon before designing. Without attending to these design issues beforehand, the conclusion drawn risk being weak and unconvincing and consequently will fail to adequately address the overall research problem. That means without attending any design or issue beforehand, what will happen? The conclusions, whatever you will draw, they will be weak, unconvincing they will become. So you can do the investigation, but later on you have to design the things properly to address the problem, overall research problem adequately. Now, given this, the length and complexity of research designs can vary considerably, but any sound design will do the following things. That means whatever the length and complexity of research design may vary considerably, but sound design is very important. What we should do, we should follow certain things to have sound or better research design. What are all those? Let's check it out. Identify the research problem clearly and justify its selection. Obviously, you have to identify proper research problem, that is clearly you have to mention, you have to justify your problem, which one you have selected. Then review previously published literature associated with the problem area. You have to review n number of articles to understand about your area, what researches have been done previously related to your problem. You have to find out, you have to review all the literature. Then third one, clearly and explicitly specify hypothesis. Obviously, you have to make some hypothesis, that is research related to research question, that is the central to the problem selected. Then effectively describe the data which will be necessary for an adequate test of the hypothesis and explain how such data will be obtained. Obviously, for effectively you have to describe the data. You have to test the hypothesis, that is very, very important, and you have to explain how such data can be obtained. Then describe the methods of analysis which will be applied to the data in determining whether or not the hypotheses are true or false. Obviously, at the end what you will do? You will do the analysis. Whatever search you have done related to the problem, you have to test the hypothesis to come to the conclusion whether your hypothesis has been tested true or false. So let's start with the first design, that is descriptive design. Descriptive research designs help provide answers to the questions of who, what, when, where and how associated with a particular research problem. So all these are things will be covered in the descriptive research. That means for what kind of questions of who, what, when, where and how, all these are associated with a particular research problem. A descriptive study cannot conclusively ascertain answers to why. This question cannot be answered here in descriptive. Why? Who, what, when, where and how can be answered, but why cannot be answered here in descriptive. Now, descriptive research is used to obtain information concerning the current status of the phenomena and to describe what exists with respect to variables or conditions in a situation. So you have to do such kind of research where what exists with respect to the variables or conditions in a situation. Here, that is current status of the phenomena. The subject is being observed in a completely natural and unchanged natural environment. True experiments whilst giving analyzable data often adversely influence the normal behavior of the subject. So here in descriptive, what happened? This is completely natural. We cannot manipulate. Unchanged natural environment will not be there. True experiments are conducted here and data will be analyzed, and these are influence the behavior of the subject. Now, descriptive research is often used as precursor to more quantitative research designs. The general overview giving some valuable pointers as to what variables are worth testing quantitatively. Already we have discussed in previous class, descriptive always demands the quantitative research here, quantitatively research designs. If the limitations are understood, they can be a useful tool in developing a more focused study. Obviously, if you understand what are the limitations of your research study, it will become easy to have your tools to test your hypothesis. Then descriptive studies can yield rich data that lead to important recommendations. Obviously at the end you can have your educational implications and you can recommend or suggest things for the future researchers. Then collects a large amount of data for detailed analysis. Obviously in descriptive research what happens? You will collect the large amount of data and you will analyze it and you will come to the conclusion. The results from a descriptive research cannot be used to discover a definitive answer or disprove a hypothesis. So whatever results are there of the descriptive research, it cannot be used to discover a definite answer or to disprove a hypothesis. Because descriptive designs often utilize observational methods as opposed to quantitative methods, the results cannot be replicated. The results can never be replicated in descriptive research. The descriptive function of research is heavily dependent on instrumentation for measurement and observation. So we come to the end of this session. If you like the video, please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. The other two designs we will discuss in the next class. Until then, happy learning.